How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate rundown of my brand new mega van. Personally, I think this is the best van in windsurfing. I built it. But yeah, we're going to take a look around. I'm going to show you all the features. So let's get into it. Let's go around the back. A first thing that's super important to say is that without my dad, none of this would have been possible. So a huge thanks to him. Not only did he lend me all his tools, but also his expertise and time. And as much as I had the vision on how this van should look, without him, I would not have been able to execute it. So big shout out to my dad. So without further ado, let's go into the van. The van itself is a Peugeot Boxer, extra long high top. So it's about 3 meters high and 6.5 meters long. So a big van. And this I did on purpose, to have the biggest living space possible, that's as comfortable as possible, but also to fit as many toys in as possible. So let's have a look at the toy rack. At the moment, it's not so full because all of our stuff is down in Vasiliki in storage, but we have the basic concept, and let's walk you through it. So the first thing to say is that the whole rack and bed frame is all made out of this aluminium profile. So the reason I did that is because it's super light, but also means I can be really flexible with the layout that I want. So as a result of this, I can have my racks wherever I need to, depending on the width of the board, the height of the board, and so on. And it means that, like now, we can take the rack out and have this whole left-hand side free, and then we can adjust accordingly on the right-hand side here. So as you can see, if we start on the right, I have my two main windsurf boards. So that's a 86 skate and a 91 skate. Obviously the best freestyle boards on the market at the moment, as well as my foil style board, the Stingray 103. They kind of go on this right-hand side as it's the first door to open, and you can easily access everything through this way. At the bottom then, we have all the masts. So the 370s and the 400s, they go the full length of the garage and they fit under really nicely. We have the booms up here on the right hand side next to the table. I won't go too much into that right now, but so you know that's where it is. And then we have my sails, the freestyle sails, 4.0, 4.4 and 4.8, the only sails I ever use and need. As well as my partner Julia's wingboard is up here at the top, but also I could fit another foil style board up here if I needed to. Basically these bottom two sections are really long, and the higher bit here, this is a bit shorter, so this is why we can just about sneak in the foil board and everything else. Down in here, it's just all the little bits and pieces, so the mast bases, spare foot straps, screwdrivers, etc. Obviously the pump for Julia's wings. On the door, we have the extensions. I've kind of copied everyone else on this one. They just slide in and out, but they're nicely and neatly in here, out the way, and nice and high in this kind of free space you can see here. And then you always need a net. So this has got all my fins in for the surfboard, some leashes, a key for the foils, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of all the bits just hidden on the door there. Up in the corner here, you can see this little switch. That's actually a little light, a strip light that goes all the way along the front here of the van. This cable needs to be glued back up. It should not be there, but that's normally glued up here. And that means when it's dark and I come back from a session that's really late and I need to see in the van, I can switch the switch and everything lights up really nicely. So we'll turn that off. And then, yeah, a little bungee hidden in here so that we can hang wetsuits over the top or any towels. And it's just an extra little drying line when needs be. That's the beauty of the aluminium, is that you can be really flexible with everything. So it means if I want to put a bungee here, I can put it in and just screw it in, and I can just unscrew it. There's no permanent fixtures, which makes everything really flexible. So at the moment, you can see here on the left, there's nothing here. But if I wanted to, we can get up to six windsurf boards and one surfboard in here. So loads of room for lots of different objects and boards that we want to get in. If you come close, you can see how the system works basically. So you've got these little hooks that I've made out of wood and carpeted to make them nice and soft so it doesn't damage the boards. But you basically unscrew these bolts here, and then you can slide these up and down, and they're on both sides, and then these spare little poles here hook on. Basically, if I take one of these out to show you, all this is an aluminium rod, so super lightweight and very strong, in a plastic tubing. And then underneath here, what I've done is I've put some foam tape and then electrical taped all the way around. So they're super, super lightweight, doesn't take any space at all either, and they're really padded, so never going to damage a board with these. And they just tuck in here, the spare ones, when I'm not using this side of the rack. As you can see at the moment, we've got Julia's wings in here, we've got some camp chairs underneath, so all of that goes nicely down in this side of the van, so that we can put all that stuff there. A big thing, and the reason why the garage is so high as well, is foils. I'm one of these people that loves windsurfing and hates the faff of windsurfing, so there's nothing worse than watching the wind be really good and screwing your foil together. So the beauty of this design means that we can get two fully rigged up foils, one for Julia's wing, one for my foil style board, and they tuck nicely kind of down this central pillar. Where the boards taper in at the tail leaves this really big space here, and this is where we can slot in our foils fully rigged to go, and then boards just line up from here, here and here and up. So a really nice feature, and definitely something I considered when I was building the height of the bed, basically, is that will my foil be able to fit underneath? So if you're a foiler, then maybe bear that in mind. Obviously, I am a freestyler, so my boards are quite small and quite narrow. So I think this design would also work for wave sailor, but maybe the slalom guys, you might have to change it up a little bit. But that is the beauty of this aluminium profile, is that you can build the rack to your liking and your quiver. So something to bear in mind there. In here, very simply, we have the shower, little Moby wash. So you fill this with water, and you actually plug it into here, this little cigarette lighter plug. And there we just plug in the hose with the shower head, and we can rinse down ourselves after the session. We rinse down all the gear if we want to rinse it with fresh water. So that's kind of how we shower in the van. Here's the tripod, the hose to fill up the water tank, and then this is just some jump cables. And in here we have the sliding camp table. So always good to have an outside table, and that's got its place neatly in this cupboard here. So talking about this cupboard here, this is exactly where all the electrical system goes. So my battery, the solar charger, the inverter for the whole van, all lives in this cupboard along the length here. It's really nice to have it down here. Not only is it pretty easy to access if we take the rack apart, which again, another benefit of the rack, but it's nice and cool at this point of the van. So none of the electricals is going to overheat, and it's all nicely tucked away in there. I won't go too into details. Basically, I've got a Victron system with a 460 amp hour battery with a shore power connection as well. And yeah, I'll put some close-ups over this bit of the video, but that's where all of that stores in here. Again, it's very simple. We just swivel this and the cupboard opens, and we can get all into our electrical system, which is all behind there with all the fuses behind the camp table. So yeah, that's where that all lives, in that part of the van. So yeah, this is kind of the garage. As I said, probably the most important part of any windsurfer's van is the garage. So if you like some of the ideas in there, feel free to take them. If you have any questions of how I built it, again, leave comments below. I really want to hear what you guys think. I'll very quickly run you around the outside. So this is the ladder. Obviously, it goes up the van so that we can put boards up here. This is a little roller, which means I can slide board bags up with extra boards onto the roof. And if I quickly go up for you, you'll see we've got the roof rack here with that fits some extra boards. As well, we have air conditioning on the roof. So a really nice touch, a bit bougie, but something that I really wanted in this van. And then we've got the 3 solar panels. These are like the flexible ones that that stick onto the roof themselves, so they don't come as like a big plate. The benefit of this is that they're super lightweight, which was obviously something that you should really consider when building a van. But they're 180 watts each, so 540 volts in total. So lots of solar coming in to charge that big battery. So very important that that's how we power the van, how we manage to live in it. And then the rest of it on the roof, you can see here, I've got the the Starlink dish. So this is giving us unlimited internet as much as we want. And up at the front there, we have a air fan, which has all of the power to draw in and out so that we can keep the van nice and cool. But yeah, so that's kind of our what's going on top. Little brief look at that. Then we've got, if we come around the side of the van here, on the outside, down here, we've got the air suspension hookup. So you just hook a compressor up. You can see these at any petrol station or garage to raise the tail of the van. Not only does this mean it looks less overweight, which I'm right on the limit. I'm not overweight, but I'm on the limit. But it also just gives a nice cushion when you hit those bumps, especially on the Greek roads that we're living on at the moment. So that's a nice little touch that I added on. It's not necessary to do, but I think it makes the van look a bit better from the outside, and it also just protects it later on. Then in here, underneath the van, we have a 90-litre water tank, and this is the input to put the water in. So again, having an underslung tank under the van means that we can have a lot of water, but B, it's not taking up 90 litres of space in the van. So definitely worth doing that underslung if you can. The other benefit of this is that the water comes in this way. It can also come out this way. So you just have a little flow of water coming out like this, which means that if you've got sandy feet after your session on the water, you can rinse them off so you don't traipse it all through your van. So it's a really nice touch, and something I really like about this van is the water output. Just quickly here, this is just the flap for the power, so if we can connect it to any outside power. And then yeah, let's go into the van and let's see what we've got. So straight away from the outside, you can see we've got a nice flip up table here. We kind of use this as a bit of a preparation area for food, but also you can work at this station. But most of all, we kind of use this as a bit of a cocktail bar. We also have one here on the end as well, so that when we're cooking, we'll get into it, that's an extra workspace, and also for washing up and stuff. But yeah, come on in. So let's start here at the cab really quickly, because not much has changed here. Swivel seats. If you don't have swivel seats in your van already, or you're looking to get a van, first thing you should buy, swivel seats. Absolute game changer. They open up the space completely. We can have multiple people sat in here now comfortably. And yeah, as I said, it opens up the space really, really nicely. And something that you should definitely do if you can get passenger at the minimum, but driver as well. I think it's well worth doing this where you can. The only other thing that I've added to the van at the front here is the reversing camera. Now, normally it's mounted up here. Actually, where it's been so hot the last few days, the glue for the mount has kind of come loose, so that's just re-gluing. But up here, I have the reversing camera mounted, so that when we're obviously reversing, we can see what's going on. We also can see it not just when it's in reverse gear. So if there's someone loitering outside the van, you can click it on and just check out what's going on. A nice little security measure that I think is worthwhile. Other than that, it's just a standard boxer cab. I didn't change anything to it. Don't need to. It's great how it is. I'm very happy with it like that. But the main key is to the swivel seats, I think, for the front. Then if we come around here, we have the curtain. So that comes across. It's a blackout curtain. It goes all the way, and we can that way have pitch black dark when we're going to sleep at night. Again, some people have the covers that go around the front. I do have one of those, and I use it when I want to keep the heat off. But if you're trying to stealth camp, then it's always best to have it like this. It's dark on the inside, which keeps it dark here, but it's white on the outside, which means that it looks a little bit more like a bulkhead would if someone's just passing by, or that's the idea anyway. Then we come across to here. As I showed you on the roof, we've got a Starlink. So this is a Starlink router. So where the internet comes from, it comes through the window here and then down into what we call cable corner. So all the cables in this little bag here, or netting, whether that's the laptops, the phones, the Starlink, all the cables, we just put it all in here, and that way we know where they all are basically. And it keeps it nice and neat so they're not flying around and cluttering up the van the whole time, which is a nice touch. And then we have a 240 volt socket in here. Again, for laptops, Starlink is plugged into here. And we also have USB-C and USB plugs in here underneath as well. So lots of places to plug in phones, laptops, so that we can keep up to date the whole time, basically. So for those that don't know, I work online remotely as an editor. My girlfriend and partner, Julia, she works remotely full-time on the computer. So we need fast internet and we need lots of power. So this was a big thing we were looking at when we were building this van, basically. And yeah, I'm sat on the big bench seat at the moment. As you can see, it's super long. I can actually lay down the full length and just chill out, watch a movie, do whatever. It's a really nice kind of chill space away, and it's nicely in the shade, obviously in the sun. Very comfy cushions. We've got the window up here, so there's lots of light coming in the whole time. Now, the windows are something I'm really stoked with, actually. They've kind of got this two locking system. So the red toggles here, if you look closely, lock the van and unlock it, basically. So you can have the window unlocked, but then if you want to lock it, bang, you got 4 of these to lock the window. What's cool is these little toggles here, which means that you can lock the window while having this air gap here, which means you just get that little bit more extra airflow. And for us, it means that we can get the Starlink cable through the window from the roof without having the window open. So we can lock the window while having the Starlink up there fully connected and running. Just something that's really nice, I think, to be able to do that we wouldn't be able to do with the sliding windows. These windows also, they hinge upwards, which means that when it's raining, you can still have the window open and you still get all that airflow. Whereas if you have the sliding windows, which I had in my previous van, as soon as it rains, rain just comes straight into your van, or dust just and sand and shit blows in, basically. So that's something that I really like about these windows. They also have the built-in fly screen that goes all the way down, and they've got the black-up blinds that go all the way up as well. So a really nice feature of this van, and we've got one on this side by the bench and one on the sliding door here as well. So we've got 2 of these, which means we can keep lots of airflow going throughout the whole time, basically. Coming around the bench then, let's have a look underneath. So first, we've got these push button drawers, which come all the way out. In this one, we've just got bits and pieces, cleaning stuff, spares, a few extra beers in there as well at the moment, and they just click in with the foot. This one, you have to press the button, but out comes the toilet. Now, such a game changer having a toilet in a van. I didn't have one before, and I always said, you don't need it. But it is a really nice feature to have. They can be quite expensive, but actually this system that we have is a really cheap way to do it, basically. It's actually a German company. They have this these plastic bowls, this black plastic here, and the containers, and it is a separating toilet. And what they do is they give you the dimensions to build the box yourself. So I built that and painted it, and then you just put it all together, and you've got the solids in the back, liquids in the front, and off you go. You can go for a poo with a view. No problem at all. So that's kind of the toilet cupboard, and here underneath, the other cupboard that we have, which is a bit of a secret one, under the bench, is, if I take these cushions down real quick, is the Starlink cupboard. So under here, the Starlink dish is quite big, and when you're driving around, you don't want it on the bed flopping around and all of the cables and everything. So we have this little secret cupboard under here, which has its own little rack for the Starlink, custom built with the carpet on the inside here, so it doesn't get damaged. We've also got these foam holders here to keep the router nice and safe while we're driving, so nothing gets damaged, and it's all hidden away nicely. So if we go away and leave the van in a park up somewhere, it's kind of hidden quite nicely underneath the bench here, and out the sun as well. Again, just trying to keep everything out the sun and as nice as possible where we can. What this does do though, if we come around, is opens up my favorite bit of the van, the party trick of the van. So you briefly saw the table in the garage earlier, but here it is. A full slide out table, basically. So as I said, we're working a lot on our computers remotely, so having a big working space is really important. And this one just slides away and slides in and out when we need it. You can fit 2 people comfortably side by side, so we can have a look at the epic view that we've got right now while we're having our lunch. Or we can just put a movie or a computer up here, and we can and watch a film in the evening. So while we're eating our food. So it's a really nice space saving way of having a table. This was a big thing that I was really struggling with this design, is where to put the table. So a massive shout out to my very good friend Martin, who has this exact design basically in his van, and gave me all the tips and tricks I needed to be able to execute it. But it's just a big bit of bamboo on some heavy duty rollers, and it goes all the way into the garage. Takes up hardly any space in the garage, but it really opens up this living space when we don't have the table out. Even with the table out, there's loads of space in here to cook, and Julia's even done yoga on the floor in the middle here, so there's loads of room, and it just means everything's so open and you don't feel like you're living in a van so much in here. So that's the table, my favorite feature of this van for sure. We put the cushion back quickly. All right, then moving around, then we have this little dial set here, this little panel. Very simple. We have a European plug socket with USB and USB-C as well. So again, we can plug laptops in here. We have the water pump switch, so we can turn that on and off if we need to. And we have here the water level. So you can see we're on 2 bars, so we're running a bit low on water at the moment. So that's a nice little gauge, so we don't have to manually try and check it under the van at all. If we move around here then into the kitchen, the work surface is made out of bamboo, and we've got this nice blue underneath. So we've kind of got the cream and the white above eye level or waist level, and we've got the blue beneath with the blue bench and the blue kitchen here. On top then, we start around here. We've got the very Pinteresty spice rack, not something you'd really see in a windsurfer's van usually, but that's where that all is. We've got the remotes for both the air conditioning and the fan at the front. Here we've got my favorite feature of the van now, the air fryer. If you live in a van and you have the means, the battery power, get an air fryer. It changes the game. You don't need an oven at all. Everything can be done in an air fryer, so get on board with that. Super nice. And then up here, a little personal feature. I put my little trick list, so tricks I'm learning at the moment or want to really learn, as well as the old shopping list. And yeah, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot. And if you want to keep following and supporting us making these videos, then please subscribe. Really appreciate it. Moving around then, again, another 240-volt socket for the air fryer, but also for any laptops and stuff. We then come to the sink. Nice little sink cover with a big sink, which means we can flip this around wherever we want to get water. Just lift up and running water. It's really deep, so it actually catches a lot of water, and it also means that we can store a lot of stuff in there, which I think is really nice. And like a feature that I really wanted was a big sink, as well as a big fridge. But we'll get onto that in a moment, because here underneath this nice cover we have induction hob as well, so you can cook with a view. Doesn't get much better than that. That's Vasiliki Bay down there with the harbour. and you look over mainland Greece and all the different islands from this epic little viewpoint. So yeah, induction hob, anything on the pan you want to cook, whether that's your omelettes, your eggs in the morning, or whatever it is. That's a really nice feature to have, and it just means no faffing around with gas. The only gas we have in this van is from the jet boil, so we can boil water in 30 seconds to a minute, and that's the only little gas canisters we have. So the rest of it, all on the solar, all on the electric, really nice. And then we go down quickly to a nice big fridge. Check out what's in the fridge at the moment. We've got a few beers, we've got some Greek yogurt, and some feta cheese, so you can tell we're enjoying Greek life. So yeah, massive fridge, and it's also got a little freezer compartment underneath there, above there, sorry. So you can get ice creams and frozen fruits for breakfast, all of that stuff. A really nice touch to have in a van. And then finally in the kitchen, we have these big drawers down here, again, push to open, so super convenient. We've got the pans, pots and pans in there. In this one, we've got all the cutlery, the plates, the bowls, glasses, all of this all goes into this one. This little one, we've got all the whisks and everything, just squeezes under the sink here. And then something that isn't talked enough about is the position of a bin in a van. And this one is our bin. So nice big 50-litre bin. And you just slide it down, all the crap can go into there when you're chopping, and it just all goes into there. Something that I don't think gets thought about enough, basically, is how big your bin is. So yeah, a really nice system. And again, so just the push to open makes everything nice and clean and convenient. Again, handles take up space, so if you can just push to open these flat surfaces, it makes all the difference, I think. So yeah, as we mentioned when we came in, we've also got the flip up table here, so that means that we can have extra workspace to cook, as well as a workspace here on the laptop if you want to type in and log into the internet. While we're here quickly, here's the roof fan. Sucks air in, out. It's also got a huge bright light on it, which is really nice, and also got the blackout blinds on it as well, built in. So a really nice bit of kit. I had the Max Air fan before, but went for this one this time, the Air Plus, and really happy with this. I would say this is actually an improvement on the Max Air fan, which I know is really popular in van lifers. And then yeah, up here is a very basic storage. Again, we've just got these tubs which go everywhere with us. Some shopping bags, jumpers. Behind here, we've actually got the chocks to level out the van if we're on unstable ground, or not level ground, sorry. And then just other bits like air fryer bits, baking bits, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's kind of the front. The only other thing to talk about then is the roof and the ceiling that we've done. So it's just a plywood ceiling with some pine strips built in. Dad and I did this ourselves, and I have to say, for the cost versus the work, I would get the IKEA ones that are built in, ready to go, to be honest. I do really like the effect of it, and it is really nice. For me, the reason we didn't use the IKEA stuff is because it's actually now the perfect height for me. I can stand fully upright and I don't hit my head, whereas the IKEA ones were just a little bit too deep. So that's the reason we didn't go for them. But yeah, it gives this really nice wood lining effect, and it just makes it a bit more homely, I think. It's a lot more comfortable, and something that I think is a really nice feature in this van. What's really cool about it is that we have the strip lights built into it. So as you can see here, if I turn this one on, you have the strip light running all the way along here, which is on a dimmer. So I can go up and down with the brightness. So when I'm cooking, there's light coming down in the evening. We've also got one tucked in over here, a light underneath. So when we're working, that light is coming down here onto us and cooking, along with the mirror, helping us look pretty. And yeah, that's kind of the front living quarters of the van. I think strip lights are really nice. It just gives it a lot warmer and comforting tone than the pucker lights. But yeah, that's something that's a personal choice, I guess. And but it goes very nicely on the ceiling, so we're very happy with that. So yeah, let's turn our attention to the bedroom. Okay, and then finally we move on to the bedroom then. So yeah, a full double bed. It's lots of space for 2 people. As you can see, it's laundry day today, so there's no covers on the duvet and stuff. But yeah, there's loads of room in here. First feature to note is a very important poster to me. This is a 4 dimensions poster with my teammate Victor Fernandez on it at the moment. Signed by the one and only, one of my heroes, Andrei Prskoski. So a really special poster and a big inspiration for me to want to be on the duotone and boards and more team. So a really cool poster, really like that one. As we come around, then you'll see the fairy lights that go all the way around. Again, in the evening, this just makes it really warm and cozy in here. And it's a really nice aspect that I was quite against, to be honest, at the start, but now I really like them. And then here we have this circular window up at the bed. With the air conditioning here and the lack of a light and fan, I thought it was really important to have a window. So as you can see, we can unlock that and the window slides fully open with a fly screen built in as well. So that's a really nice touch. It just means more light, more air, and just helping to keep the van cool, as well as this little shelf that you can pop your phone on when we go to bed and so on and so forth. And it comes with its own little blackout blind so that we can keep it nice and dark in the evening. So yeah, really like this little window, actually really happy with that. And then yeah, moving around, we've got the air conditioning. As I said, it works as a fan as well as air conditioning. It does draw quite a lot of power, so another reason to have such a big battery system. But yeah, I'm really happy with the air conditioning. I think it's something after 3 years of living in my old van that I really wanted, and it's I think a very worthy investment. The black tape there is just to keep the light that's on all night long, which is quite bright, just dim that down a little bit. But yeah, it's a really nice feature to have air conditioning. And as I say, when we're working in the day, the aircon's over here, so it's not oppressive, it's just slowly cooling the van. And in the night, we can just bang the fan on just to cool it down a little bit. So yeah, really, really nice to have air conditioning. And then finally, we move over to the wardrobes. So we have 3 big cupboards, one big one for me on the end, one very much cleaner one from Julia in the middle, with all her clothes. And you can see here we've got the tambour doors that go all the way down, so that we can block these out as well. They just roll up and down, really nice feature. This is actually the same as I had in my last van, but there's just a bit bigger and a bit wider. And as you can see, we can get so much clothes in here. It's really nice. There is a secret compartment hidden in here, as my previous van did get broken into last time. So I built a secret cupboard in here, but I'm not gonna give that one away today. So yeah, something to bear in mind though, if you are building a van, is to have a safe space that no one's gonna really find unless they really go looking for it. And then back here, there's a little gap between the door and the wardrobe where we fit another USB cable, so to plug the phone in at night, as well as my ebooks down there to have a nice evening read, as well as everything else. There's a switch also here for the light, so this just lights up all the cupboards, all of the bed at night if we need to, as well as the fairy lights, and that's on a dimmer at the front as well. So yeah, this is kind of the bedroom. It's very basic as far as bedrooms go. But it's very cozy. As you can see, there's not a huge amount of headroom, the sacrifice you make for having foils fully rigged in the garage, but it definitely does a job. It's very cozy. We've got a nice IKEA mattress protector on the top, so it's the most comfy bed I've ever slept in. So yeah, can't complain. Absolutely love it. Okay, and then the last thing that I forgot to mention is obviously these big cupboards. So yeah, there's actually one over here as well. So there's 5 of them. Just extra storage space. There's loads of stuff in here. You just pull them up, they flick up and hold. So we've got camera gear, toiletries, more camera gear, food in the end one as well. And what's really nice is that they are soft close. So you just need to push them down and they go like that. Very nice. And yeah, one up here as well, just for all the tins and the coffee and everything. So that's basically everything in the van, guys. So as you can see out here, this is Vasiliki Bay. So it looks like the bay's heating up. We've got a nice sunny day. There's northwesterly on the forecast, so that's very promising. So yeah, we're going to head down into the bay and go check it out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this van tour. And if you do have any questions at all of how I built stuff, if you would change anything yourself, and all of this good stuff, please leave a comment below. I'd love to talk more about vans. It's become a bit of an obsession of mine now. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Hope to see you in a future video. We're going to the Defi Wind in a couple of weeks, so you'll see that video coming up really soon. And yeah, catch you in the next one.